G'day everybody, and welcome back to another speed build. This time we're going for a renovated factory. In its previous life it was a shoe factory, and in this one it's going to be renovated into a house for an upwardly mobile sim or couple. So here we are putting the roof. It was difficult to decide on the actual pattern, but I went eventually with some corrugated iron or tin or metal roof, and these old bricks, which I would imagine that an old factory of this sort of the building of this sort would have been constructed of. And just deciding on windows, gosh, they gave me a hard time because except for a couple of decorator items, this is just base game. So trying to find something that is industrial was not the easiest. So I raised the walls up and went with those quite tall windows. But you'll see later on that all gets changed because it's just too hard to work with the higher ceilings if you want anything to hang from the ceilings. And here is the bit where I realised that we were too far forward on the block to actually use any stairs. And in a minute you'll see that I realised that it's off centre. That, yep, there you go, the veranda bit was off centre, so everything had to be put back. It's not that I needed everything to be symmetrical, but I would imagine that these old buildings would have been built with everything where you can, it's even sort of space on both sides of the door, great big doors, double doors, so that you can, get stuff through. This has been renovated so that there's no delivery doors and that sort of thing. So here we go, dividing the upstairs. And we've just gone for a mezzanine floor is the upstairs. It's just, and yep, I'm remembering to get the roof. So it's just one bedroom, one bathroom, and a large open plan, spacious, just single space down on the bottom that's divided by half walls. So now we're just adjusting the general look of it. And when I saw these, I saw the vines go up just then. I did use some vines on the wall at the end. They are from the Vampires pack, so they are, as far as I can remember, the only non-base game items in the whole build. So anybody, except for the ivy on the walls, anybody should be able to download this. So there we go, we've divided off our areas with our half walls, and this is the upstairs bathroom. I went for some sort of slate or old looking tiles, and we've put our little path out to the front. Now the gardens here are fairly simple because it has taken up most of the lot, as I would imagine a factory normally would. I would have imagined that originally that front area was for parking, and this is, the three little plants out there were just to look at the colours to see if I could get one that kind of blended in or toned in with the brick pavers. So we're just doing a little bit of gardening out the front. As I said, I work better with colours and a little bit of interest in there to start with. And so we've got a little bit of the gardening done, some lights in there and down either side of the path, and of course some stones around the trees, which I really love the look of. And now we're going to the inside. I'm going for an industrial look, obviously, because it's a factory. But we wanted modern, we wanted spacious, and we wanted super functional. So we've got this, these cabinets are base game, really lovely. They come in a couple of different colours. Unfortunately, a lot of the cabinets that hang from the walls don't really match up with the same wood colours. So There I am just pulling out some to check, and I think we've gone for a real contrasting colour. As you can see, I'm going through all the wood colours, but I thought about a red. And as you can see later on, we do put some red splashes in here, but the colours just, that I couldn't quite get them to match up to where I was happy with them. So we did go for that darker wood to sort of tone in with a darker stove. We throw a few decor items in to start with, and then I realised that the ceilings are just too tall to cope with. So this is where we go back and modify everything all the way down to we do the 2 wall height, and then we go all the way down to 1 wall again. And yep, that's just matching up the windows so that I can keep track of where we're going. And there we are, back to a single wall height, I believe. Alright, with the roof on. So, alright, windows, getting that little bit of roof sorted. Over the front, the little veranda, the porch area, wherever you're from, whatever you call it. We call it a veranda, you might call it a porch. And getting some lighting out the front. Obviously we wanted something that was a bit industrial, so we've gone for the ones in the cage. Alright, so back to the kitchen. We're getting some corner cupboards in, which I think they look really cool, and for whatever reason those ones would not, they wouldn't go underneath, so we ditched that idea, we threw it away. And we're thinking about tables here now, something that can match in with the industrial feel and still be modern and clean. So a nice glass table, and it's got really thick, like they look like almost hammered metal legs. So, and we've also, I've tried to stick with a black, white and metal theme throughout with just some splashes of red. So to give it a little bit of, you know, spot colour, and to really dress up some of the areas. So simple blinds just in white, again going with a minimal or minimalistic feel. I really did like this centerpiece, but I did discover that, and you'll see it a little bit further down or further along, that the tops of the trees are poking through the floor. So, and again there's that splash of red in that bust. So we do reduce them back down in size a little bit. Here's our little office nook. And again, a black and white table to go with the theme. And we also put in some little clusters of greenery. So here we are creating a reading nook or a reading area or a relaxing area. I love those lights. They look very industrial to me. And so we splashed a few of them around. Neon tubing lights. I put those lights up to the side, but yeah, I took them down again. I didn't really like them in the end. But the neon tubes, the exposed neon tubes, I thought looked quite industrial to flow with that theme. Here we are sticking a few decor items into the kitchen. Didn't want to take up too much of the bench space, but I didn't really stick to one area, get it finished and then move on. I just was looking through the decor items and through the clutter and that sort of stuff, and really seeing what suited the theme and sort of putting them out. So nice mirrors, a mirrored wall there to you know, reflect a bit of light and a little bit of space, and a cluster of greenery with again just a little hint of red there. In the flowers, so, and a nice heavy chunky looking coffee table to set off that area. And you can see we've also put the TV stand in there, that's a weathered wood, bit of a stereo area, and an ottoman or a low couch for people to sit on. Again, more lights, I loved them. I really thought they fit the theme really well. And again, looking through stuff, it just sort of sparked me. Double sink, always handy. Anybody who cooks regularly knows that a double sink is really handy to have. And I set these benches out as an island because we have such a large area. It's a really effective working space, and it's a place for them to put meals. It's a place for them, you know, at a later date. I could always pop some stools around them. If you have downloaded the House to Play, you can pop some stools around there if you need some extra seating. I just thought it looked like a really good island bench area. And here we are, just looking for appropriate decorator items to suit. I really love that painting, the monochrome sort of feel. Lighting, of course, because we can't have our Sims walk around in the dark, the poor things. And some lights to really, some actually ground lights. They're outdoor lights to jazz up that that entrance, that feature that would catch your eye just as you walk in the door. And again, I'm trying plants for that corner, and in the end I just leave it bare because they all just poke through. They're too small, they're normal size, and when they get sized up they just poke through the floor above, so I didn't really want to have that. So again, we're going fluoro lights because I think it just has such an industrial feel about it, to light that sort of entryway and get rid of that dark spot there. So here we are going upstairs. First of all, for the bathroom. I really love this bathroom, and I would, excuse me, pardon me, I'd love to have a spa bath in the corner of my bathroom, and they have a separate shower stall. Again, we've gone for the black and white theme as much as possible, metal if we can't, and these curtains, obviously the grey with the black highlight, splashes of colour there just to jazz it up a little bit and to make a little bit of contrast. And yep, can't forget the toilet roll, as we would call it down under, the dunny roll. A couple of bathrobes. I really am keen to do a much more industrial, more mechanical, almost steampunk kind of build, and for that I will have to use a bunch of downloaded content, so which I haven't included in this build simply because this allows anybody to use it. So I'm reluctant to not only bog my game down with a lot of downloaded content, but to have you guys have a build that has so much of it unusable if you download it. So we're putting some more plants in here. Again, one of the themes of this is a pocket or a cluster of greenery rather than just the odd single plant anywhere. So and more mirrors to add a bit more bright and light, plus you do have to have somewhere to check yourself out when you're in the bathroom. Full size is good. Nothing really fitted with the theme of excuse me, with the theme of the bathroom as far as artwork was concerned, so so I didn't put any on the wall. And so now we're into the master bedroom, or the only bedroom, and again we've gone for blacks and greys. We do have a bit of a splash of colour, and I thought we would have a walk-in robe or walk-in cupboard or walk-in dressing room. So we've included all those shelves with hanging stuff on it, and a chest of drawers so that it looks like it's, you know, a nicely kitted out cupboard. None of the shelves really, the colours didn't really fit, so we've just put a little bit of shelving in there. You could put, you know, odd little knickknacks or whatever on it. I really wanted it to feel like it was a converted warehouse or a converted factory, so I didn't want to break it down into too many rooms because it's unlikely that an old factory would have had a lot of rooms. It would have had a lot of floor space, a lot of perhaps dividers or spaces allocated for machinery or work areas, but the upstairs has probably only got an office and a bathroom, so I've tried to kind of reflect that feel. And as you can see, we've brought that splash of red up there in the rug again, and we have got a screen there for a little bit of privacy. It is a mezzanine. It's not a half wall there, it's a railing. So, which is, if you're going to follow the backstory of the warehouse, it's the original railing that was in the shoe factory. So, and we're doing it. We didn't forget the fridge, I just hadn't put it in. And we're fixing up the little bits and pieces. I've put a dishwasher in there. And now we're dressing up the office area. We, want to make it a little bit interesting and look a little bit like it's an area that's in use, and that whoever's there does perhaps is, involved in something like accounting or have a lot of bookwork or paperwork to do. And you might have spotted on the wall, there's in the office area, there's a stock counter, and I thought that was really cool. Perhaps it might have been left over from the original warehouse, where they might have had an area where they kept track of the stocks, or the stocks from their factory. Another grouping of plants here just to keep that theme going. I love plants in the house. I'm terrible at keeping them alive, but I do love it. And excuse me, I don't know what's happened to my voice tonight. Now we're dressing up the roof so that it looks like it was a factory. And here we go with the ivy. Again, this is from the Vampires pack. So my apologies to those of you that don't have it. Obviously your house will download without it. So we did save it here, and we're into, I thought maybe we could do a little bit more with the roof, perhaps an air conditioning unit, but it didn't want to go. So now we're dressing up the garden, and I thought that a little pool or a pond, this is not a pool that they can swim in, but it's a little pond out the front, I thought would look really cute as a feature. Give it a little bit of street appeal. And of course, what do you have around, excuse me, around a pond but a bunch of rocks. And then we dress it up with some beautiful flowers. I really loved how this came up, and I will be showing it to he who is one day will be in charge of the household. He might be out on the weekend putting together a little pond out the front of the house for me, because I really, really loved it. And again, last minute, just making sure we've got plenty of greenery in there. I just really love the clusters of plants. I really love how that feels. I did try to get some artwork on this front wall, but it just didn't want to go. I did get some of the fluoro tubes in, but I just kind of felt that just a bit of mirrors to reflect a bit of light up into that what would be a darker area is about as much as we could stand. Radiator there for somebody who's working, and I think now we're about to go into our screenshots because it's just about done. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. And here we go, our screenshots. That's from the front. This is our kitchen, obviously, really, really industrial and work-like. Our dining room, I love that rug upsized, and that giant clock on the wall looks great. I really love how that looks. The lounge room, entertaining area with the black and white couches, and our reading area that kind of flows on into our little office, and there's the stock counter. Still keeping track of how the shoe store was, or the shoe factory was going. Our little entry feature, the upstairs landing, and you can see that screen does provide an effective privacy screen for them. The upstairs artwork, your view into the bedroom there. I really like how this came out. I would love the views that this room has. It feels so open and airy, and this gorgeous bathroom, really luxurious, and certainly you'd want to spend a few hours in there sitting in the spa. And here is the layout. That is the top floor, and that is the ground floor. It's very simple. Hope you enjoyed my build. Have a nice day.